So Kyrgyzstan. Now you might be planning a visit to Kyrgyzstan or some other country in Central Asia and you're wondering whether it's worth going all the way that far away to Kyrgyzstan. Now I recently spent more than 2 weeks in Kyrgyzstan and traveled across the country. And in today's video, I'll tell you all that I've learned. Now you can use my video and plan your trip to Kyrgyzstan. Or you can actually wait till the end because I'll tell you another very interesting cool trick because that's how I did it too. Now before we go ahead, let's really look at the map and understand where exactly is Kyrgyzstan located. Where exactly is this Central Asia that everybody keeps talking about? So do this. If you have a wall map, go to the wall or open Google Maps and draw a line straight up from Jammu and Kashmir going to the north. And very soon you'll find this country on the map. So yeah, लग तो रहा था बहुत दूर है, पर ये घर से बहुत पास में निकला. However, because of the mountains that separate us, the Hindu Kush and the Pir Panjal, culturally we are very diverse. Now before I tell you about how to plan a trip there, let me just talk a little bit, have some patience with me, a little bit about the country itself. And I think that will give you a lot of good appreciation about what this country is all about and if you want to go there and explore it on your own. Now Kyrgyzstan is the smallest country of Central Asia. It used to be a part of USSR. Once the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, it became an independent country. Now the country is surrounded by Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and China. And of course India, Afghanistan, these countries are also quite close by. The capital of Kyrgyzstan is a beautiful, lovely city called Bishkek. And I will soon be making a video about Bishkek also, so stay tuned for that. The other big city in the country is a city called Osh. Now the country is a mix of huge, wide plains which are great for agriculture, and then there are these mountains which are snow-covered even in summers. About 90% of people living in Kyrgyzstan follow Islam, though it's a very moderate form of Islam. The two commonly spoken languages are Kyrgyz and Russian. Russian because of the influence of USSR. English, on the other hand, is almost non-existent. So if you think that you're going to go there and use all your English skills and survive in the country, that's not possible. Another very important and interesting Soviet era import to Kyrgyzstan is vodka. So it is kind of the national drink there. Everybody drinks it pretty much all the nights. Now that we know a little bit more about Kyrgyzstan as a country, let's talk about how to plan a trip. Let's start with the basics. COVID-19 requirements. So you do need to be fully vaccinated if you want to go there. That really helps for pretty much travel to anywhere else outside India right now. You would be asked for these details when you apply for the visa as well. And with that, let's talk about visa. Now visa is pretty easy to get. It's an online application and you can get an e-visa which comes in your email. The visa fee currently is $50. Now a very important thing to keep in mind when you apply for a visa is that you do need an invitation letter from a travel agency in Kyrgyzstan. Now this is not explicitly mentioned when you apply for a visa, but it's really required. Get a letter of invitation which you can then upload in the other documents section when you apply for visa. This is very important because once your visa gets rejected, you can't apply for another visa for the next 1 year. Now that the visa is done, let's talk about the flights. Now there are unfortunately still no direct flights which fly from India to Kyrgyzstan. So you have to go via some other country. I flew to Kyrgyzstan through Air Arabia, which goes via Sharjah, but then there are other options as well, like Turkish Airlines, Uzbekistan Airlines, as well as Air Astana. These go via countries, but all of these are viable options. Delhi is actually a better place to fly out from because there are more options to fly from Delhi. Another big question that a lot of us have here in India especially is whether Kyrgyzstan is safe to travel to. And my answer to that question would be a big yes. Yes, it is very safe to go to Kyrgyzstan. I never ever, even for a moment, felt unsafe there. In fact, we met a lot of Westerners who were just traveling on their own in their own cars. They didn't have a local guide or anybody. They didn't speak the local language. However, it does help if you have a local with you. We had 2 local guides who were also our car drivers, and that really helped us to not just travel easily but also connect with locals, talk to locals, get to know about interesting local cultures and traditions that are there in the country. So I would actually say it's a great idea to have somebody with you, but if you want to go solo on your own, that's also totally possible. Now another big question that a lot of us have is around SIM cards. It's very easy to get a SIM card there. You can do it at the airport itself, and that's what we did. We just got a SIM card at the airport with 4G access. So 4G works really well when you're in the cities or bigger towns. But as soon as you leave these and go outside, you would lose network, or it will become quite minimal. However, when you go to the mountains, there is absolutely no network. So you have to be prepared for that. You have to let your family members know that you're going to the hills and you will be completely cut off. So keep that in mind. So okay, fine, there's good internet. How about electricity? Now again, electricity is pretty good when you're in cities and towns. However, again, when you go to the mountains and you're staying in utes, which is where we stayed in, these are local traditional tents, and I will make a video about those also soon. But when you're staying in utes, there is no electricity. They may have a lamp which may be run by solar power, but there's no electricity, so you can't charge your mobile phones, you can't charge your cameras or drones or any of these things. You need to carry a lot of battery packs with you to be able to charge them. So this is what we did. We would spend 3 to 4 days in the mountains and finish off all our batteries and then come to the city and maybe for a day or so live there, and then recharge everything and go back to the mountains. That was sort of our modus operandi. Another very commonly asked question is on food. Do you get vegetarian food in Kyrgyzstan? Now, I'm a vegetarian, so I can very easily answer this question. Yes, you get. Now, of course, the traditional food there is all meat-based. There are a lot of vegetables on the side, but the most important part of their food is, of course, the meat. However, if you're a vegetarian like me, you would not struggle because there are a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. There's cheese, bread, and also they cook some of their vegetables. You will not get the Indian taste and flavors. I can't remember even a single day when I actually had a hard time with food. If you're non-vegetarian, the options are so many. You can eat a lot of things, but you can also eat a horse if you're open-minded again. So yeah, try that out. But if you are not vegan like me, you can try horse milk. It's delicious. It's very expensive, but if you're up in the hills, you can actually buy it directly from the shepherds there. Okay, so we've talked about so many things so far. How about the best time of the year to visit? Now, winters in general in Kyrgyzstan are very harsh. The temperature could dip to as low as -30 degrees. So I would say the best season would be maybe from Feb, March till September, October, because the weather gets more moderate. The hills become green with a lot of wildflowers, so it's very beautiful. If you love taking pictures, that's a really good time to go. Another commonly asked question by a lot of us these days, especially content creators and enthusiasts who love to make videos, is about drone laws. Can you fly a drone in Kyrgyzstan? Yes, there are strict drone laws, but I would say that if you're up in the mountains, it's okay to fly a drone. Don't fly it in the cities, so don't fly it in Osh, Bishkek kind of cities, but in the mountains away from the army camps, it's completely fine to fly a drone. I did fly a drone multiple times, so yeah, just be careful when you're flying the drone. Just make sure that you don't break any laws when you do that. So how much does it cost to go to Kyrgyzstan? Now, to answer this question is a little tough for me because it really varies. So let's say I spoke to another friend who had gone a couple of years back on a solo backpacking trip to Kyrgyzstan, and he spent about 1.5 lakh rupees for the whole trip, 2 weeks. So he was traveling on his own, staying in hostels, taking lifts from people, you know. So you could save a lot of money that way. All right, so finally it's time. As I promised, here is how I did my trip. So I actually traveled with a photographer, a friend of mine. His name is Manish, and he runs these tours to Kyrgyzstan every year, where he takes a group of photographers or travel enthusiasts who love to try out new things. So what you get in this tour is that you get all curated experience for all the 2 weeks that you spend there. Your food, your travel, everything is covered. So you don't have to spend any money. You only have to book your tickets and reach Bishkek. And from that point onwards, Manish will take care. I have shared the details of how to contact Manish in the description below. So you can write to him, check with him when the next tour is happening. So you can do the trip either ways, with my friend Manish or on your own. It works both ways. I really hope you enjoyed this video about planning a trip to Kyrgyzstan. If it was a useful video for you, please do leave a comment or a question in the description below, and I'll do my best to answer that. If you enjoyed the video, do like it here on YouTube as well. That really helps with the algorithm. And finally, if you want to travel with me across the world through these travel videos, do consider subscribing to my channel. That would also be highly appreciated. Anyway, it's time to go now, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now.